Well, we're here with the businessman on the street, and today we're talking to Dan Goodwin. Dan, thank you for coming on the Man on the Street. Talk a little bit about your business, and I want to talk most of all about the shrimp tank. What an interesting concept. But let's start with a little background about you and your company, Provident, and tell us all about it.
Okay, Dick. Well, our company here is Provident Wealth Advisors, and we're a independent financial investment and tax planning firm that's fiduciary-based, holistic, and unbiased. That's a mouthful, right? But we take care of about 200 families here in our community, and we help them with all aspects of their planning and preparation for retirement. And that can include income planning and all of these different things like that. And we have a great staff of people, probably the best staff I've ever had in my life. There's 2 other registered investment advisors here. And then we have a team offsite of 12 certified financial planners that help us develop our plans for our clients. So it's been a pleasure to live and work here in the Woodlands and raise my family here. We came in 1995, and kids are grown up now, so time went by.
Well, you know, it's interesting, the financial planning, just to take a little more time on that, financial planning and doing investment advising and everything, it's a big deal for people, particularly small business owners, because so many of them, their main investment, of course, is their business, right?
Most of them, yeah, sure.
But you got to help them put some money aside and plan for the future, because if they're depending on just the sale of their business, who knows what the situation will be when they go to sell.
Well, it's risky having all your eggs in one basket. And most entrepreneurs, that's right, that company is their baby. They reinvest, they pour everything back in. But what we would like to help people to do is start to look at some things. You know, there's some tax planning things that they can do to shelter income in their business, where they can start to systematically move some of their assets into some traditional sort of retirement plan assets. It can give them a tax break right now today, but can help them have some equity and wealth apart from their business, so that just not everything's in one. I mean, that's risky to have all your eggs in one basket.
Yeah, well, that makes a lot of sense to me. Now, on one hand, Dan, you've got the Provident over here. You're doing wealth planning, and then all of a sudden, I hear that you're doing the shrimp tank. Kind of go across that bridge, because, well, first of all, let's talk about what the shrimp tank's all about.
So we like to say on the shrimp tank, it's where street smarts meets book smarts, and the shrimp tank works closely in association with the Sam Houston State University College of Business, and specifically the entrepreneurship degree program. So some of my friends are some of the professors there, and of course they teach academic theory about entrepreneurship. But when we interview business owners, you know, the students get to hear the rubber meets the road, the entrepreneur that started with the idea and they now have traction. Just recently, one of our shows we did at the Conroe Chamber of Commerce, of course, you and Dick were on the show. It was a fabulous show. But we had Meredith Jarika that has this company. She made a deal with Lori Garnier on Shark Tank. And, you know, I think her business is blown up. She's right over here in our own backyard in Conroe. She has 79 employees now. They make little ladies' makeup bags. And she was a speech pathologist. She did not know that she was a budding entrepreneur, but opportunity, you know, presented need one day, and this little wonderful little business idea came out of it.
And today she's got 79 employees and been on Shark Tank and gotten some funding, and who knows where it goes from there. You know, it's really interesting. Well, Shrimp Tank is, I'm going to say it's a little more local than Shark Tank being national, but it's...
We were going to name it Shark Tank, but the name was taken, right? So it's we run a local chapter of this podcast. However, this podcast was started in Atlanta by my friend Ted Jenkins, and now it's nationally syndicated. Shark Tank rather is in, Shrimp Tank is in a lot of different marketplaces. So now we're nationally syndicated, and our shows are on iHeartRadio and on iTunes. And so this little idea of bringing together street smarts and book smarts, it's really going on all across the country.
And what you do is you bring in, as you mentioned, Meredith and of course, one of my clients and one of my sons, Dick, and I were on the show talking about how he started his business, Lone Star Community Radio. So you bring entrepreneurs, business owners on, and you talk about how to start a business, how to build a business. What else? I mean, what's the purpose of the show?
Well, we're looking for someone that has typically made it past 5 years. So most small businesses fail within the first 5 years. And we want entrepreneurs on our show that have an interesting story, and they found traction. They're experiencing some success. So they have some knowledge and wisdom that they can actually share. So our audience are young, aspiring entrepreneurs that want to launch a business one day, but it's also very established and seasoned entrepreneurs that they want to go to that next level. You know, they're successful now, but they want to go to that next level. Dan Sullivan talks about at Strategic Coach that business owners hit what's called a ceiling of complexity. And that's when all of a sudden there's no more hours in the day, you're successful, but you're so busy, you know, and you're running in circles sometimes, and you may not even have any opportunity to go after new business. So the businesses that get to the next level, they have strategic planning, they have delegation, they have teams that, you know, go after initiatives and projects. So some of our entrepreneurs have reached one of our first guests was CEO of a $100 million company that came on, and we had a plastic surgeon on, an Olympic gold medalist, and the show was kind of going that direction. I said, no, wait. I said, I want to talk to the guy that has a pest control company, has a plumbing company. You know, I don't want just, you know, I don't want this to be, you know, the wealthiest, you know, biggest companies. I want small business owners, representative of the fabric of our community.
Well, and the fact is we know that small businesses really, by sheer numbers, overwhelmingly, really is the backbone of American business.
80% of the new jobs in our economy come from small businesses of fewer than 50 employees, and so that's our audience.
Yeah, well, that makes a lot of sense. Well, you mentioned that you have Sam Houston involved in their School of Entrepreneurship in the business school.
Yes, sir.
And so the connection there, I mean, you're providing, I guess, content for the students to observe and discuss. You mentioned that. What else is the involvement with Sam Houston?
So shout out to Dean Mitchell Musam, the Dean of the College of Business at Sam Houston State University, and we just went and had a conversation with him, and we said, hey, we've got this cool little podcast idea and that we're doing, and you know, we'd like to bring some faculty on as co-hosts sometimes on the show, which we've done. So we started out with Jamie Collins that came on the show, and we've had Dr. John Newbold on the show, and then we had Dr. Chip Matthews come on the show, and we even did a commercial banking episode live in the classroom here at the Woodlands campus at Sam Houston State University in Ray Sanders' class. And you're probably friends with Ray, but he was retired now. But it was a great show that we did in the classroom. So our podcast stuff's portable. We can pick it up and go anywhere.
Yeah. Well, that's what's fantastic about doing that. Now, teach me though, what is the connection? You have this wealth management company, and now you're in Shrimp Tank, and I'm trying to understand the bridge. Why go from wealth management? What is that doing, or what's the connection so we can understand?
So the connection is that this was an opportunity for me to reconnect with my university, and the podcast for us is not a monetized sort of thing, but
Right.
it's a community involvement activity sort of thing, and we'll have students on it. I guess it's a place for me to serve, bringing together some of the business concepts, some of the applications as it relates sometimes to business, tax, financial planning, to the students that are coming up and want to learn more about those things. So it's not a business per se for us. However, we do a lot of connectivity, networking, and actually some of those guests who've been on the show have become clients of our firm just because they sought us out afterwards. But it's a fun thing I enjoy doing, and I really want to have like our own studio to do it. We're doing all of our shows out of the Conroe chamber
Right.
now. But I'm actually talking to Dick about maybe using their studios so we have a regular place to go.
Right, a professional place to walk in and go to work. That's cool.
Yes, sir.
Well, you know, and I need to make this point because anyone who knows me or knows the Weekly Business Hour, one of the things I encourage in my practice working with clients as a coach or a mentor is to get involved in the community. So this is a very interesting way, as you mentioned, you're going back to the school and you're working with the students, great involvement to go in and share some of your valuable time and experience. Very unique in that way.
Thank you. Yeah, it's been a blast.
Well, what do you see the future of the Shrimp Tank? I mean, you're in it now for how long have you been in it?
2 years. I want to say
Okay.
we have produced about 80 shows.
Wow.
We started out doing our shows in the Atelier Design Center, which is at the Ferrari dealership of all places. We just drove by there one day and said, hey, this would be cool to do our show right here. Let's go. Why not go ask them? You never know what'll happen if you ask somebody, right? So we went in and asked them, and I think after about 2 months of doing our show there, they were like, we might have wore out our welcome to some degree. So then we went over and knocked on Bob Milner's door over at the Mercedes dealership, and he had a place, and we did a few shows there. We've done shows at the Chamber of Commerce. So we mentioned I did the one in the classroom there at the university. We've done some shows here in our office. And we even went out to Saddle River Range. Shout out to Tom Balso, my good friend out there. And we produced a show live it was in the Crockett Room at Saddle River. You know, it's a fancy gun range, really fun, cool place.
Yes, absolutely.
On 1488. So, no, I think that we'll just continue to do this. I really enjoy bringing students on that want to come on the show. I enjoy meeting and learning every time I sit down with someone on the show for an interview. I walk away with a profit. I learned something from that business owner. Everyone's got a story, and then the combination of all the stories, you know, a couple things that come out of these stories that I hear. It's perseverance through these entrepreneurs. It's not all been sunshine and rainbows. They've had heartaches and setbacks, but it's those who persevere. And those people who were willing to take a risk. And those people had a passion, a burning desire for things. These people all succeed in the end, one way or another. But most of them have setbacks, heartaches, and they're willing to do things that other people are not willing to do.
Yeah, well, I think you really kind of summed it up for a majority of the entrepreneurs. Well, Dan, I can't thank you enough for taking time out of a busy day to allow us to interview you. We've been talking again, Goodwin here at Provident Wealth. And Dan, man on the street, appreciate it very much.
It's my pleasure. Thank you so much, Rick. It's nice being here with you.
Take care.
Okay.
OneBestConsult.com, a community of small business owners where you as an owner can find answers to the most pressing business questions you have. Not sure who to turn to when you have a challenge in your business? Turn to the folks at OneBestConsult.com. That's the number one, bestconsult.com, where you can always find advice you can use based on common sense business experience. Join our community of like-minded business owners at OneBestConsult.com.